Super fast? Woo!
Super fast.
Shout out to FanttikRide for gifting me this wiggle card. I just want to note on this that when you're installing this, there's a correct way to do it. You want to install the bottom first, and when you're installing the bottom, you will need a screwdriver, but it's important to note that there is a flat side and a more divoted side. You want the flat side to be facing the non-side. This side has already a bolt in it, so you won't have to bolt it. So the side away from that. So this side, like that. And then you want to make sure it lines up. And when you go to screw it in, you'll notice that it gets tight. It gets tight, but it doesn't go all the way full in. It hangs out here a little bit. Notice that you can get it as tight as you can, and then that's it. And then it shouldn't go anywhere because it has a little nud or an end cap here, so it shouldn't go anywhere. But it does not go all the way in as I thought it would be. So that is something, a pro tip for you. And then to install it, all you do is you want to make sure that this is in the front. And this is where you install this, the steering wheel. Make sure that this is pointing up. And then you want to put it in here. So on the octagon here. So you want to make sure that the lug is on this side and you thread it in the other way. Like this. And you want to hold it while you turn this. Now we're ready to ride it. Let's do it. Oh, also make sure you fully charge it before you take it for a spin. Always important to supervise your kids when they're on this. In order to charge it, you flip it here like this. And you will see the on, off button.
Yep.
And also this is where you put the charger. This is where the button is to make it fast or slow. It says you need an injection pin. It does not come with an injection pin. So that is a con, but you can use almost any object. Like I'm gonna use this little screwdriver and push it in. So that would be so and fast. So let's wait for this charge and take it for a spin. Ha! You can tell that I am way too big to do this. I'm 170 pounds, but this wiggle car goes up to 150 pounds. And that's one of the first things I noticed about this. It is a quite bigger little ride-on toy. The seat is extra wide, so you actually can fit two smaller kids on here together. It has a weight capacity of 150 pounds, and it's designed for riders up to 69 inches tall. So even an adult can hop on it and try, which I have been racing my kids. I definitely think it gives a longer lifespan when a smaller ride-on kid can actually grow with the child. There are also two different ways to ride it. You can ride it with electric by pressing the button, or you can actually ride it by pushing. Which I love. So that way you can get more of a traditional wiggle car, pushing it back and forth with your feet rather than doing electric, especially if the battery dies or something like that. So that is cool. I like having both options because the kids can still play with it even when the motor is not running. So love that. There is a button here in the center that you can connect it to Bluetooth if you wanted to connect it to your phone to play music. One thing I was wondering before this is how fast it can really go. There's two speed settings, which is super important to know. The lower setting goes around 1.9 miles per hour, and the faster one goes up to 4 miles an hour. So if you have a younger kid, my 5-year-old, I would start with a lower speed for her. And I love that the button's on the bottom to press, because sometimes she would go too fast on her other one and not be safe on it. So I love that I can control the speed by pressing the button on the bottom, which is just a little pin. Steering is the most fun part. It can swivel 360 degrees so the kids can turn, spin around, maneuver in different directions instead of just driving forward and backwards. It definitely takes a little practice at first, but that's the fun part. You'll see if you turn a little bit, it can tip a little, but doesn't tip over. So you kind of have to get used to the turning and the swimming. I also appreciate that they put some thought into the stability. It has an anti-tip, rear anti-tip wheels and a shock spring system. See here? Very wide. So especially when the kids are riding, they're used to used to the steering wheel and those additional features of safety, which is a plus. Another thing the kids immediately noticed was the lights. There's lights here and there's lights along the wheels, which every time you ride it, it lights up. So they don't require separate batteries for that. They just light up on their own, which is awesome. They roll really smoothly among a lot of different surfaces. They're also designed so they won't scratch your floors. Yes, that is right. It's nice. So if you're using it indoors on appropriate surfaces, it will not scratch. It's pretty soft. The Bluetooth, like I mentioned before, the feature, that's a nice add-on. I wasn't really expecting that for a wiggle car, but you can connect your phone and play through it. We've been playing Golden a lot, and you control the volume as well, which is great because the kids always like to make it loud, so you can control it with your phone. So it makes riding around a little bit more entertaining. The battery power, there's pros and cons to this. I would want to know before buying something like this, depending on how it's used, what is the listed runtime. And it's approximately about 60 to 150 minutes per charge. The actual runtime, though, it can vary based on the weight of the passenger, the rider, the speed setting, and how you use it. So it can fluctuate, but it does give you a good amount of playtime before it needs to recharge. Now, one of the cons to this, it's important to keep mind the battery maintenance. So don't leave the battery completely drained for long periods of time. The manufacturer recommends that you charge it once a month. If you don't charge it, or if you store it somewhere and it's not cool or dry, it can make the battery not charge. So you want to make sure you do great battery maintenance. You can't just put it away for a couple months and then expect to drive it. So setup was a little bit on the challenging side. There's just a couple different pieces that is important to note that you have to line up. But other than that, it was straightforward. It was pretty quickly to set up. I did it in 2 minutes. For me, the biggest advantage isn't just that it's limited to one type of play. The kids can use the electric mode. They can turn the power off and turn it into a wiggle car and ride it out themselves, burn some steam. Me having 2 kids, they can sit on this together, which I love, so they can play together and not fight over, take each other for rides. I also like that it's something they can continue using as they get bigger, rather than something that they immediately outgrow and then you can't use it anymore. So overall, I think they have a lot of fun with this electric wiggle car, the 2-speed setting, the 360-degree steering, wide seat, lights, Bluetooth, and electric. Manual riding car options is definitely one that I like. So it's definitely a lot of toys packed in one. Totally recommend this. I will see you on the next one. For us personally, it is actually something my kids want to keep playing with, and that's usually the best test of whether a toy is good or not.